Rolling.
Just to start off with, tonight, tomorrow night, you'll be appearing before how many? 20, 30, 40,000 people. Does it still frighten you, excite you, interest you, bore you? What are your emotions prior to such a big concert trip?
Oh dear, that's a difficult one.
I always start off with a rough start.
Yeah. It's not frightening. It's very exciting. You have to stay very self-disciplined. And it's one of the sort of. You've done me in now. It's so vacant before we go on. All I'm caring about is the show, nothing else.
Do you find yourself at this moment, just like a few hours before you go on stage, is the feeling one of nervousness or anticipation? Do you look forward to it, or?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I mean, every night's a challenge to be better than the night before. But we don't get nervous. We get a bit. What's the word? I just get sort of very vacant. I go very inward.
Inward.
Yeah. Then once I'm on stage, it's fine. But it's not really nervousness. We play to vast audiences, 500,000. I mean, it doesn't matter if there's two people. It's exactly the same feeling.
It is the same trip, no matter how many people are out.
Yeah, that's not what it's about. How many people?
This is the second city and there are a dozen ahead at least. By the time you've reached city number 11 or 12 or 13, are the feelings the same? Or what I'm trying to get at is
very much the same. It doesn't matter to us whether we're playing for nothing, playing for $1 million, playing to two people or 500,000 people. The feelings are the same. It's the challenge of bettering yourself, getting your music better, getting your act better, becoming a better group.
You must have nights where you feel it's going extremely well and other nights where you feel it just didn't quite make it. Does that happen, or do you feel...
Oh yeah, oh sure, definitely. But that just makes you more determined the night after.
It never frustrates you that you had a bad one?
You can't let it. You can't afford to let it. You've just got to forget that. Say, right, we know what you've got to analyse yourself. So that's where we went wrong. You don't do it again.
This is a difficult question. And you don't even have to answer it. But do you find that you derive more pleasure doing it by yourself, on your own, as a solo artist, or is there more pleasure with the group, or is it both the same, or not at all?
I've never done it on my own.
Recording?
I don't like recording anyway. The only pleasure I get out of being in this business at all is playing on stage to people.
Why do you make records?
Why? If I didn't make records, nobody would come to see us when I'm playing on stage. It's as simple as that, really. I don't dislike recording, but it doesn't fulfil any sort of ambitions in me at all.
What is it that happens on stage that fills those ambitions? Is there any way you could describe the feeling to those of us who have never, of course, appeared on stage playing rock and roll? Can you identify that?
Oh, that's another difficult one. All I can say, the only things I can say is that I've had times when I couldn't even speak before I've been on stage. I've had the flu or laryngitis, and yet I can get on stage and I can sing, no matter how badly. But I can get through a 2-hour show, and I come off stage and I can't talk anymore. So I mean so you can't explain things like that. It just happens.
So there's
and that's what the stage does to me, anyway.
It's like a mysterious, magical thing.
I mean, thank God you can't analyse it. Everybody seems to try and analyse everything else in rock and roll.
Is rock and roll better or worse than it was 4 or 5 years ago? Is the music better? Are the artists more talented? Is it going up, down? Is it the same?
From our end of it, it's exactly the same. It hasn't changed from the day we did My Generation. We're still trying to become a better group and create new music, and that's as far as it goes. So from our end of it hasn't. I think from the business side of it, it's definitely changed a lot. It's going through turmoil. It seems to be like a huge, vast emptiness somewhere along the line. Something's missing. I don't know what's going to replace, what's going to fill it up at the moment. But that's how it feels from, in my point of view, about the business side of it.
Can you see a time where you won't be doing this anymore? Can you see a time where you won't be making music and would want to do something else? Are there any other professions or interests that you have away from the rock and roll world?
There's a lot, but I don't think about them. The only ambition I've got in life is to keep the Who together as long as possible, to do as much as we can achieve. I mean, the Beatles have achieved a fantastic amount in quite a short time. The Who have been together now professionally 10 years.
Mm.
And I think if we can stay together another 10 years, we'll surpass what the Beatles did. But I mean, it'll take us that long. That is my ambition. I don't think past that. I really don't want to either.
You've been together so long, you spend so many years of your lives on the road in hotel rooms like this and airplanes and all the rest of it. Does it start to get on the guys' nerves? Do you find yourself quarreling with each other or getting impatient, or is it always just up and okay?
We quarrel and fight. We're just people. It's like being married to 4 people. But we own up to our egos. Everybody is interested in just keeping it as a group. And no matter what we can do on our own as solo performers or whatever, the main thing to us, and it applies to everyone in the group, is the Who. And it evens out a lot of problems.
With so many, you cannot talk about rock and roll without somehow bringing up the subject of drugs, because it's just something
unfortunately,
that people are so curious about. And we've seen so many great people in rock and roll fall to the wayside as a result of it. Do you have any general thoughts about fellow musicians who use narcotics? Is it a necessary part of the rock and roll world and being on the road? Is it avoidable?
I think so, yeah. I mean, the way I've seen it, I mean, a lot of my friends that have died and gone away, it seems to be that most of the good rock and roll musicians come from very working class, poor backgrounds, and the reason they got into it and had so much fight within themselves was because they had such big barriers to climb over. Once they made it, there were no barriers for them. So that's when the drugs started to come in, and they just make their own bloody barriers. And it ends up, there's no way out once you get into that. I mean, none of the Who take dope anymore. We used to do a bit of pop years and years ago, but then you discover, what is it? You know, you've got it in you anyway. You could I'll get higher on stage just by leaping about and singing and really enjoying myself than I ever did off of taking any sort of dope.
You brought up the money, and the money is interesting too. So many rock musicians, English rock musicians, have come from working class communities and environments and backgrounds.
Nearly all of them.
Nearly all of them.
Yeah, probably all of them.
Does the fact that you've got $500 million trillion now make it
How much?
a couple of bob? Is it something you think about, or does after a while the money after you've reached $1 million seem to be pretty unimportant to you also?
It never has been that important. It was important when we were in debt. Once you're out of debt, it's never been that important. The only thing I care about is that if the group's earning it, the group should get it. That's the only thing that worries, that bothers me about it. I've seen a lot of people ripped off as far as that goes. But it's never been that important. It was important when, before Tommy, pre-Tommy, the Who must have been $150,000 in debt. Then it was important because it was jail. But after we paid it back, it's not important at all. It really isn't. We've been offered millions to do, not millions, but at least $250,000 for one show, and we turned it down because we didn't want to do a show at that time. We were doing something else.
You've been offered $250,000 for one show?
A couple of times, yeah. And we turned it. I mean, that's not what we were in it for. We were doing something else at the time, and a gig for the money just isn't the Who.
One final question, and then I'll let you go because I know you got to work. There are lots of kids watching Eyewitness News now who are so envious of what you do and appreciate what you do as a solo artist on record, as the group together. And a lot of them would like to become musicians, would like to make it. They're struggling real hard on the streets. And I always ask people in your position, what advice or suggestion, if any, you have to them who are really working hard in those practice rooms?
Well, that's very difficult. We get letters all the time. And just before I come here now, I've been talking to a kid on the phone who's in the same situation. And all you can say to them, if you believe in yourself and you believe you can do it, don't ever think, well, maybe we'll make it. Think, we're going to do it. And that's it. That's all you can say to them.
I like what you do. I thank you for this.
Good luck.